So on the same day that we saw Angkor Wat, we also got to see Angkor Thom. Now Angkor means city, and Thom means great. So it's literally a great city, and it's surrounded by a man-made moat as well. And it was also built by Jayavarman VII, the king back in the time. So you cross this moat when you get there, and on one side there are statues of what are supposed to be gods or deities, and on the other side there are statues of demons, and each side they're holding a naga, and a naga is a giant snake, and it's a big protector. And it's all part of this Hindu story about the gods and the demons having to work together to play tug of war with the snake, basically, to churn the sea of milk. An interesting Hindu story. So you cross this moat, and then you come to the first of the city gates. And on each side of the gate, there are these faces that are carved there. And it's an interesting thing about the faces in Angkor Thom is they're everywhere, but these faces are supposed to be the faces of the Compassionate Buddha. And the Compassionate Buddha, there's a name for it in Japanese, is Canon, like the camera. So I thought that was pretty cool. And so you see these faces everywhere. So then we went on, and the city temple is the Bayon temple. And again, more of these faces. Just on every single tower, there were 4 of these faces, and I think he said there were 49 towers, but I could be wrong. Anyway, so you climb through, or you get to walk through, and a good deal of it was still intact. So you see the archways, and there's a naga and a Garuda riding the naga on the balustrade. I mean, just beautiful craftsmanship. And the other cool thing were these, this bas relief that was all over the outside, very well preserved, and apparently it's all true stories about military escapades. And so here's our
first level. It's contained with a detail like this. It's go that way and around. It's all the detail is telling stories. But this is the real stories. It's like it's historical record. And this whole wall is depict about military processions. To me, this is like a newspaper, that I can come and read this every day. And there's no identicals on each of these details, and there's no reputation on the stories. This is not legendaries, it's not the mythologies, but it's the real story. So before they make this, first they build a wall, and they put stones on top of the stones. In some places perfect joint. You can't almost see the joint. Here, mostly you can see it. And between the joint, there's nothing. There's no cement, there's no mortars. There's a stone sitting perfectly on top of the stone, and then smooth the surface, and plow on top of the surface. This is so-called bas relief. And so there's 3 layers, the low one, the middle one, and the high one, but it's all telling about the military processions of the king Jayavarman VII. He is known as the greatest builder of Angkor King, and also the greatest military leader of Angkor.
So then we got to see more of Bayon Temple, and you just walk through. There's 3 layers, kind of 3 tiers, just like Angkor Wat. And so you can climb around and climb up to the next tier, and you can get closer to the faces. And the climbing is interesting. It's almost vertical stairways, but it's very worth it, and it's very fun. And you can get just a really great view of the temple, and that's kind of what it looks like from far off. But it's a big city, so there's more buildings inside Angkor Thom than just the temple. There is, for instance, the Elephant Terrace, and it's this terrace that was like a stage where you would have performances, and it's got elephants carved into the sides. And there's also other buildings, and so we got to see quite a few. And there's more of these balustrades with the naga on them. And here is also the elephant terrace, but this part has a Garuda carved into it. Now this was a building that has, you can see kind of 2 tiers there, and we actually got to climb up this tier. That's the staircase, but we didn't climb that staircase. And then you can see, here I am standing on the top of the 2nd tier, looking down onto the 1st tier, and here's the top of the 1st tier, looking down the staircase that we did climb down to the ground. So you can see how steep it is. So we really enjoyed our time at Angkor Thom and seeing Bayon Temple with all of the faces. I have a few more temples to show you guys, and those videos will be up soon. So stay tuned and see you next time!